Welcome back, everybody. It's getting close to that time of year again, Thanksgiving, and we've got a ton of listener-submitted sources all about it.
Articles, personal stories.
Oh yeah, even some
Yes.
tips for how to make it through those family get-togethers with your sanity intact.
Right.
It might seem a little early to be thinking about Thanksgiving, but these sources really make you think. There's more to this holiday than just turkey and football, don't you think?
Absolutely. And what I find so interesting is how these sources bring together history, personal experiences, even some practical advice.
Yeah, it's a pretty well-rounded look at this holiday, isn't it?
For sure.
Okay, so let's start with the Thanksgiving basics,
Yeah.
Pilgrims, Native Americans, the whole harvest feast thing. But one of the sources, the essence of Thanksgiving, it makes the point that it's become way more than that.
It has.
It's like this cornerstone of American culture, a time for reflection and connection.
Right.
And not just stuffing your face.
Exactly. More than just the food. The source really stresses that the core of Thanksgiving, historically and now, is gratitude.
Mm-hmm.
It's actually a concept that the American Bible Society has been promoting for a long time, over 200 years.
Really?
Yeah, highlighting how important thankfulness is in American culture.
Wow. So do you think with all the commercialization of the holidays these days,
Oh, yeah.
that kind of impacts how we actually experience gratitude?
It's a good question because one source actually pointed out that, Black Friday sales are overshadowing Thanksgiving now.
Oh, totally.
So do you think being bombarded with ads and trying to get the best deals kind of takes away from just being thankful?
It's tough, isn't it?
It is a delicate balance, I think, celebrating with your family, but also remembering not to go overboard with buying stuff.
Right, and how that affects gratitude.
Yeah, exactly.
Definitely something to think about as we head into the holidays.
For sure.
So on a more personal note, I was really drawn to the personal stories that you shared, like Thanksgiving ramblings, personal reflections. It has this sweet story about the author's Thanksgiving blog and all the memories that go with it.
Oh, I love that one. It really shows how personal stories and memories shape our understanding of gratitude.
Yeah.
It's not just this idea, it's something we feel and connect to through stories.
And those stories, especially from other people, can have such a big impact.
They do.
In that same blog, I loved the story about Richard Noonmaker, the retired musician. He's 78.
Oh, wow.
And his message was so simple but powerful. The golden rule and just living a life of gratitude.
Beautiful.
Has your perspective on Thanksgiving been shaped by personal stories like that?
Oh, definitely, especially hearing from people with so much life experience,
Uh-huh.
It adds so much depth to what gratitude means. And it's funny how simple principles like the golden rule come up again and again.
Right, the simplest things can be the most profound.
Totally.
And speaking of simple but important, another big theme was traditions.
Yeah.
There were some funny ones like Thanksgiving morning workouts.
Oh, really?
But beyond that, it's cool how these traditions, however quirky they are, help to bring us all together.
They really do. Every family has their own way of celebrating right.
Mm-hmm.
And those traditions, whether it's a recipe, a song, or just the way you set the table,
Yeah,
they make memories and connect generations.
it's true.
Those little things are so meaningful.
And building on that, one of the sources talked about how music shapes those Thanksgiving memories.
Yes.
Do you have any Thanksgiving songs that bring back memories? For so many people, just hearing a bit of "We Gather Together" takes them right back to childhood.
100%. Music is so good at bringing up emotions, connecting us to specific times and places
Yeah.
Those melodies and lyrics become a part of our holiday experiences.
It is amazing how smells, sounds, even tastes
Oh, yeah.
can transport you right back to holidays past.
Like a time machine.
But it's also important to remember that holidays aren't always perfect.
True.
Your sources didn't shy away from the fact that Thanksgiving can be stressful,
It can.
especially if you're dealing with loss or family drama.
Right. Challenges faced during the holidays, one of the articles dives right into that.
Mm-hmm.
It acknowledges how heavy things can feel this time of year, and it looks at ways to handle that.
Yeah.
Some people find that smaller, quieter celebrations are less stressful and help them connect better with people, while others love the big gatherings.
Right. Different strokes for different folks.
Exactly.
Yeah,
It's about what works best for you and your family.
that makes sense. And while we want to be welcoming and joyful, sometimes we have to navigate some tricky topics.
Oh, yeah.
One source even talked about avoiding controversial conversations like politics or personal beliefs during family gatherings.
Oh, yeah. That can be tough.
How do you think people can handle those situations without, causing a scene but still being respectful?
It's a balancing act, for sure. The source suggests focusing on harmony, and respecting everyone's views.
Right.
It might be more important than winning an argument or proving your point. Find common ground. Focus on what you agree on. Remember, you're there to bond, not to argue.
Yeah, I think that's good advice.
Hopefully it helps.
It does.
Keep the peace
For sure.
during the holidays.
Yeah, exactly.
Sometimes it really is. Like choosing to just let it go and not have to be right
Yeah.
can be the best gift,
Totally.
especially during the holidays with family.
So speaking of gifts, we've been talking about some of the tougher parts of Thanksgiving.
Yeah, the downsides.
But we can't forget about the joy and those opportunities to really connect with people, right?
Absolutely. And
Yeah.
your sources had some great ideas for making it a meaningful holiday.
Oh, yeah. Like what?
Well, one of the articles, Nurturing Family and Friendships, it really emphasized simple things like cooking together, playing games, even just sharing stories.
Yeah, those little moments really are the most important, aren't they?
I think so.
It's better than stressing about making everything perfect.
Totally. And another thing they highlighted was expressing gratitude throughout the day. Not just like saying grace before dinner, but like little ways to show you appreciate the people you're with.
I like that.
Like complimenting someone on the dish they brought or
Yeah.
thanking someone for helping out.
It's those little things that can make someone's day.
For sure.
It reminds me of that part in The Importance of Connection, where they talk about reaching out to people who might be alone during the holidays.
Yeah.
It's a good reminder that Thanksgiving isn't just about our own families.
Right. It could be a neighbor or a coworker who's far from home.
Or even someone you just met who seems like they could use a friend.
Exactly. It's about expanding that circle of gratitude, being kind to everyone.
And it's not just about helping others.
Oh, yeah.
Your sources talked about how being grateful and generous can actually make you happier too.
There's that saying, it's better to give than to receive. And studies show that doing kind things and being thankful can be good for your mental health.
So it's a win-win.
Totally. You make someone else feel good, and you feel good too.
I love that.
Me too.
So as we wrap up this part of our deep dive, how do you think we can bring those ideas of hospitality and generosity into our own Thanksgivings? What are some little acts of kindness we can do?
I think it starts with thinking about the people in our lives and looking for ways to show we care and offer support. It could be just listening to someone offering to help out or making sure everyone feels included in the conversation.
Creating that feeling of warmth and belonging.
Exactly the heart of Thanksgiving.
And it goes back to what we were talking about before with all the commercialization. How can we focus less on stuff and more on gratitude and connection?
That's a big question and something we'll talk more about in the last part of our discussion.
Okay.
We'll look at what it means to be grateful, not just on Thanksgiving, but every day,
Sounds good.
and how to put those feelings into action.
I'm looking forward to it. It seems like we're going deeper now.
We are.
From the traditions and the food and family stuff to gratitude as a way of life.
Exactly. And your sources have some great insights on how to make that happen.
So we've talked about a lot, from the history of Thanksgiving to personal stories and even the not so fun parts of the holidays.
Stressful stuff.
Exactly. So as we wrap up this deep dive, what really stuck with you from all these sources?
It's interesting how much the idea of gratitude as a practice comes up over and over. It's not just a feeling you get, it's something you got to work at.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
One of the sources, Significance of Gratitude in Modern Life, it talks about how easy it is to get bogged down in the negative.
Oh, yeah.
To focus on what you don't have instead of what you do.
Especially with everything going on these days, it's like a conscious choice to look for the good.
Right, so how do we actually do that?
Well, the source had some practical tips, like keeping a gratitude journal, writing thank you notes,
Okay.
or just taking a few minutes each day to think about things you're grateful for.
I like that, making it a daily habit.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like how we were talking about storytelling before. When you share your experiences of gratitude, it makes those feelings stronger.
For sure.
So it's about making gratitude part of your everyday life, not just a Thanksgiving thing.
Exactly. And it goes beyond just feeling good, too.
Yeah, really.
Your sources talk about how gratitude can actually change how you act and interact with the world.
Like in lessons learned through relationships.
Yes. That one explored how gratitude is connected to empathy, compassion, generosity. The idea is that when you're truly thankful for what you have, you're more likely to share it with others.
That makes sense.
It leads to more kindness, understanding, wanting to make a difference.
So it all comes back around.
It does. Gratitude inspires generosity, which gives you even more to be grateful for.
It's a beautiful cycle. But how do we put this into practice? What does it mean to live with gratitude beyond Thanksgiving?
That's the big question. Right? It's about going beyond just words.
Yeah.
Your sources had some ideas. It starts with those little acts of kindness.
Okay.
Holding the door for someone, helping out, listening to a friend. Those little things can really brighten someone's day and spread some positivity.
And then building on that, we can look for bigger ways to show gratitude.
Exactly. Volunteering, donating to a good cause, speaking out against injustice.
It's about using what you have to make the world a better place.
And Thanksgiving is a good reminder of that, with its focus on gratitude and togetherness.
It encourages us to think about how we can live those values all year round.
So as we finish this deep dive, I hope it's made you think about how to bring more gratitude into your own life.
Me too.
It's not about being perfectly thankful all the time,
Right.
but making an effort to notice the good things and let that guide your actions.
Thank you for joining us on this journey into the heart of Thanksgiving.
It's been a pleasure.
We hope you have a holiday season filled with warmth, connection, and appreciation for everything good in your life.